Easy Explained, John Stuart Mill. Introduction overview. So John Stuart Mill was born in London in 1809, and he died in Avignon, France in 1873. Almost 67 years old, just 12 days shy of being 67. His upbringing, he was largely brought up in the tutelage of one of his dad's friends, Jeremy Bentham. You may have heard of Bentham. A big work of his was the Principles of Morals and Legislation. And Bentham is really the first person to set forward the doctrine of utilitarianism here. It's going to be a big philosophy and focus of Mill throughout his life, but it really starts with Bentham. This is a lot of times referred to as the greatest happiness principle. But Bentham was applying this largely politically, right? Like, look at the title of his book, largely in terms of legislation, in terms of legislature. Let's just look at who else was influencing Mill really quickly. So in 1831, at 22 years old, a young man, he meets Harriet Taylor. They're really close for a really long time, for 20 years. They don't get married for 20 years later. They're only married for 7 years, and she actually dies relatively young. But Harriet Taylor and John Stuart Mill, very close. Taylor is very influential in Mill. In 1859, Mill publishes a really big breakout essay for himself. It's called On Liberty. It's really taking everything he learned under the tutelage of Bentham, applying it in his own way, his own fashion. He's really putting his stamp on his own political theory. But a couple years later, we're going to see the more ethical shift. He's really going to take a stand up against Kantian ethics. He's going to take everything he learned from Bentham in the political theory side, apply it pretty strictly ethically. And in 1861, we see this essay, Utilitarianism, come out. That's what really puts this ethical theory on the map, more so than Bentham did. From this, Mill got a lot of fame. He was pretty well known in the academic and intellectual circles. He becomes a member of British Parliament for 3 years, 1865 to 1868. And one of his big champion campaigns that he's on is for women's suffrage and for the right of married women to own property. It's a really big thing that Mill pushes for, fights for, and gets through Parliament. Finally, in terms of looking at his works, in 1869, Mill publishes another essay called The Subjection of Women. And this is really him becoming a very outward, very upfront feminist man, right? Almost making that a popular, for lack of a better word, thing. And he has a call for other men to be feminists, right? To stand up for women. It shouldn't just be women. It should be all of us. So it's just an introduction, overview to Mill and his times, some of his big influences, some of his big works. Next, we're going to move into looking at utilitarianism. But for now, I hope this helps.